This program is brought to you by Tab. We're on. Download the app today. What are you really gambling with?
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to the first episode of Thoroughbreds Are Go for 2025, a program designed to celebrate and promote the great deeds of the thoroughbred away from the racetrack and to encourage racing owners to find the best homes for their off-track horses and educate their new equestrian owners. Coming up this week, a great story with leading Sydney trainer Gary Portelli and Renae Dorney as Gary judges thoroughbred classes at the recent Sydney Royal Easter Show, with Renae a hugely experienced equestrian too with strong thoughts on caring for the breed. Queensland's Life with Horses shows the incredible joy off-track thoroughbreds can provide to visitors, highlighted by a visit by St Vincent's aged care residents to this wonderful facility that helps horses and humans. And in a new segment thanks to Thoroughbred Breeders Australia, look who we found. We discover a retired racehorse at Ridgmont Farm in New South Wales with a big job, safeguarding the wonderful Doncaster and Stradbroke winner Stefi Magnetica. That's all coming up on this edition of Thoroughbreds Are Go. Gary Portelli is well known as one of Sydney's top trainers, but some people might not know that his love of the thoroughbred came from his earlier life showing horses. His partner Renae Dorney has won many Royal Show and national titles, and I caught up with them both to get their views on thoroughbred rehoming as Gary was judging Thoroughbred Day at the recent Sydney Royal Easter Show. Very nice. Congratulations. Gary, there's such a great crossover, isn't there, here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show between the racing industry and the equestrian world, particularly with these classes you've judged today, the Pope and the Crane, and it's just wonderful to see, isn't it?
It's fantastic. For me, it's a dream come true. I cut my teeth doing this. So as a young fella, learnt to ride, doing the show scene, out west, did Sydney Royal for every year till I can remember. We transferred across to the thoroughbreds. We started riding bigger horses and we got thoroughbreds and started getting into the racing game. So to see these beautiful, big, strong athletic types that have obviously been racehorses, peaking on the day and, powerful animals wanting to go fast, come out here and be taught to go steady and elegant and light on their feet and listen to their riders and do every transfer of one leg to the other in beautiful sequence, and then see them stand there and just line up in the lineup for an hour.
And hours.
It's just good to see these horses got great homes at the end of some tough careers. Some horses didn't do much racing and some did plenty, but it's nice to see they've got homes after a tough career.
How did you reconcile between your knowledge as having understood the show scene and as a thoroughbred racehorse trainer in what you were judging today? How much of it was about a horse that potentially could be a great racehorse, particularly the mares class, or the fact of what the show scene looks for? How did you sort of reconcile between the two?
Yeah, it's a juggling act, because I think what we're looking for as yearlings isn't exactly what we're looking for out here. We're looking at a more powerful, robust, for me, sprinters. I train sprinters, so I'm looking for probably a horse that didn't have a long length of rein. Didn't worry about the rein too much. More about a good shoulder. I like short cannons, and I was looking for that out here in the ring. But more an elegant type at the show. We're looking for that English type of horse. We see the beautiful paintings of thoroughbreds, the length of rein, the beautiful shoulder, the length and depth through the gaskins. These sort of things you're looking for as a show horse, where doesn't always work as a racehorse, and that's probably why it works out that most of the horses that are built like that are at the show ring rather than still winning races.
And how much about how correct they are? I mean, yearlings, obviously, you're trying to find a lovely straight front leg and, you know, the hocks sort of not too far out behind, not weak hocks. And does that matter in the show ring as much or not?
I think balance is everything. And if a horse isn't balanced, you pick it. And if, when they're working, you can see that that transfers into their trot or their canter. If they're not right at a walk, I believe that when they get out and they start moving, they're not balanced. And it's been good. My partner Renae and I, she's in the show circuit as well, and I've been able to get a little bit of my eye back since watching her ride and compete. Start to look at what you're looking for as a hack rather than a thoroughbred or a sprinter like I like to train. But it was a little bit of a juggling act. I'm glad I've been looking at coming to the shows the last few years and getting my eye in, and it was good judging with Julie Butler, who's an incredible judge of show horses, and I was picking her brain while I was out here as well. So it was a good afternoon. It was great to see these horses with such beautiful homes.
Renae, the Sydney Royal Easter Show, obviously it's been almost a home for you for many years, and unfortunately you're not allowed to compete this year because Gary is judging. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, the irony of it all. I'm getting massive FOMO sitting in the grandstand. It's not the place where I'm used to being, but you know, I'm so proud of him. He's doing a great job. He's also driving the car home, so I have to say that. But honestly, no, he's doing a brilliant job, and it's been really enjoyable.
In terms of your background, I mean, you know, you've grown up with thoroughbreds because, you know, let's face it, generally they are free, and you were retraining them as a young person and then on-selling them and then getting a better one. And tell us about some of that, because it's what a lot of people do, and they develop that love of the breed.
I come from the country. My parents did everything for me to be able to compete. I started competing when I was 6, and it was very hard because there's the show jumpers that are trying to get earmarked the best horses, the show riders, the dressage riders, so we're all trying to get the best one off the track. So I started riding track work at an early age, trying to get the dibs on the right horses. I was really fortunate. My parents backed me, and that's really how I got myself into off the track horses, and from there it's just, you know, got out of control, and I've been doing it for a very long time now. I've had too many to mention, but I've been blessed. I've won national titles, I've won royal titles. It's been a lifestyle for me.
What is it about the thoroughbred? We keep asking everybody, and everyone seems to have a slightly different answer. We know about their athleticism, we know about their, you know, they can be so intelligent and their action can be so good. What is it for you that gets you with them?
They're beautiful. They're a beautiful animal, and if you're passionate about a show horse, they are the epitome of a show horse. They're athletic, they're elegant, they're difficult, they're a challenge. It's not a walk in the park. It's also a training exercise as well as a selection exercise, finding the right animal. And it's not easy, it's not a cookie cutter. To find a horse off the track, you've really got to make sure that you know exactly what you want. An OTT won't always translate to a show horse. An OTT won't always translate to a show jumper. It has to be specific to what you want. I have a pro forma, which I need something that really moves, something that has a temperament. It doesn't necessarily have to be a temperament where it's quiet, but something that's adaptable or malleable, or something that wants to work with you. And they've got to have a conformation, a length of rein, a clean gullet, a big poppy eye, a big powerful back end. I like length from the hip to the hock, length from the shoulder to the knee, short cannons, straight, legs in 4 posts. There's so many things that they need to be, but at this level, as you would have seen today, they're magnificent animals at an elite level. It's a real thrill.
A lot of the show judges are more about, you know, the hacky little horse, you know, pretty little horse versus the hunter, sort of bigger, heavier horse. But to me, and interesting talking with Gary, but to me, I think, particularly with mares, that you want them to be a horse that is going to be an athlete. So if they're not the shape that could potentially throw you a good racehorse, is that what it's all about, or how do you see it?
Interestingly, I met Gary here at the Easter show, by the way, but when we started talking about what he looks for in a horse and what I look for in a horse, they're very well aligned. You really need something that's going to be sound, that's going to be able to carry you through the journey. You also need something that's a light, like it's lit up, it's got energy, it's well aware of itself, it carries a bit of an enigma, it has a competitive attitude. They're all things over and above a normal horse that you're looking for, that elite horse, and that's what we're looking for. But it's interesting you talk about hunters versus open hacks. It's really great because England used to do hunter hacks, whereas we did open hacks, and they're very distinctly different horses. Hunter hacks are heavier set, thicker boned, and they're designed to carry you over fences and, you know, up down dales and through the hills, whereas your open hack is far more elegant and refined and lighter in the bone and pretty, but both of which are competitive and both of which are equally important. And it's great that we've been able to develop those two different types of horses in Australia, which is great because it puts a place for every thoroughbred that's coming off the track.
And so for owners trying to rehome a thoroughbred, it's really important they see these sorts of stories from people that are experts such as yourself, Gary, and others, to explain what is possible for their ex-racehorse or their horse that might be a former breeding stock that they need to rehome, to understand what's required, isn't it?
It's really interesting because I think a lot of racing trainers and a lot of studs are now getting more aware of rehoming. It's becoming a focus of the racing game, which is excellent to see. But they're becoming really involved in competitions like this. We now have the Off the Track series. We have the Equines, which a lot of money's been invested, and from that there's been a real pull through for thoroughbreds and a vested interest. Like, for example, there's a lot of trainers that now have wives that are competing, and there's a lot of, you know, sponsored events and big marquee shows like this. So it is becoming where people are becoming more aware, and it's really exciting. It's a really exciting space for thoroughbreds, I think.
And what are some of the things you'd say to riders taking them on?
Time. They're not a cookie cutter, they're not a simple horse. You've got to understand your horse, you've got to understand the process. When we get our horses off the track, it's usually about a 12-month process before they hit the ring, and you've got to understand that thoroughbreds are built to race, and then teaching them to come back and be retrained is a completely different mental concept, but also a physical concept. If you have a look at a racehorse, they're built well around the shoulder, around the flanks. All their muscle tone is in their undercarriage. You look at a show horse, it's all on top. So what you've got to do is start to reshape them and be patient and accept the fact that they're not going to translate straight away. It's going to take some time and some re-education and slow patience, and you're going to get your horse because they're brilliant to work with.
And you just love them.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you think trainers in the racing industry can assist these horses?
Well, I think prize money would be a great kick along. You know, we're seeing the off-track shows now that Racing New South Wales are put on. And that's attracting a lot of people interested in buying our horses that are retiring. And I think that's a big incentive. Money is the greatest incentive for anything. Now, if there's prize money involved at the big end of the shows, the Sydney Royal, the off-the-track shows, these horses will find more homes and there'll be more people after them. So I think that's important. I believe if the money comes, the people will come buying them.
Racing owners a lot of them don't know about this whole thing. Would you say get along and have a look at whether it's your local show or come out to the royal shows and see how magnificent these horses look? It's like winning a Group 1 for the owners and the riders of these horses.
Exactly. The girl that won the Pope Cup today was shocked. They had to call the number out 3 times. She had no idea that she'd won, you know, and she said, I just can't believe I've won. And this is what these kids and these adults, this is the event of the year. If thoroughbred owners came out and watched a few more shows and it was a bit better publicised, we saw more in the papers, we saw more on TV, then I think it's like anything, it becomes more popular. And I've said it before, it's a great thing for these horses. We talk about welfare, well, this is where it starts.
Everyone out here loves their thoroughbreds, and you obviously do as well. They're an incredible breed.
They are, and we love all of our horses, but you know, it's just the thoroughbreds are a unique animal. They're bred to go fast. So to get them to calm down and do this beautiful work that they're doing today takes a lot of skill and things to go right on the day.
But it's been a wonderful day out here, hasn't it? The Royal Show Society and all the stewards and the councillors, everyone pulls together an enormous thing, particularly on this thoroughbred day.
It's amazing what goes on behind the scenes. I've never been behind the scenes, and I've never seen what happens with the stewards and the people organising, orchestrating the whole thing. You just don't turn up and the horses turn up. There's a lot of work goes on, and we've got to thank the people behind the scenes, because without them, this doesn't happen.
Two very experienced thoroughbred lovers with great tips on rehoming the breed and giving them their best life. Coming up after the break on the return of Thoroughbreds Are Go, we head back to Queensland's Life with Horses and see the joy an aged care visit can bring to elderly residents. Welcome back to Thoroughbreds Are Go. Last year we visited the wonderful cat Creech at Queensland's Life with Horses, helping humans with difficulties and horses who've had problems of their own to find happiness together. Now we find Cat welcoming residents from the St Vincent's Aged Care Facility, and it's clear proof of the calm and uplifting joy that a thoroughbred can bring.
So we take injured, retired racehorses off the track and we rehabilitate them. Good boy. How clever is that? Finger up. That's it. Yay!
It's obviously well known that thoroughbreds, as we featured with you at Life with Horses before, are so great with people. The sensitivity they have is just wonderful to see. But we've just seen from St Vincent's Aged Care a wonderful day out for some elderly residents coming to see your horses. Tell us a little bit about what the aims were of this morning.
The aims for this morning with these guys is just to bring back some beautiful memories, emotions and feelings that they had through their life with horses around them. The 6 people that we have here today all had horses in their lives in their earlier days. So to see them to reconnect with their love and passion for horses was the goal, and they're outdoors being able to reconnect with that passion.
And tell me what you think they actually got from the day, because it really is beautiful. I mean, we all know that the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a human. Tell us what you think they actually got from today, being around these gorgeous horses.
It was a number of things. As they got off the bus, you could tell straight away that they were excited to be out of the facility and to be somewhere different in the country air. We had 2 horses waiting for them, our mini Shetland and Scallywags, the Accelerator, the racehorse. So that really you could see the spark in their eyes as soon as they were amongst that environment. And from that moment on, it was experiencing the horses smiling, kissing, hugging, and even just being able to groom them and touch their warm bodies. It's one gentleman said just stroking the horse, he hasn't done that for years, and it gave him so much joy.
They really can be the gentlest of horses, can't they?
That's correct. Yeah, we had Fancy doing a little meet and greet with them, and she was so beautiful and soft with all the residents, and just her eyes, everything about her persona just softened it for them, and gave them the courage to come up and pat an animal that they might not would have done that normally. So yeah, it was really cool seeing them sort of step over and get over that anxiety and a little bit of scariness to pat this gentle horse. It was great.
Tell us about Sue, who's organised this for St Vincent's and these aged care residents, because it really is important to have people within these facilities or within schools or any organisation to be positive about bringing people out to see these horses.
Yeah, that's it. She's a little go-getter. She actually reached out to Racing Queensland, and the girls there suggested she give Life with Horses a call. And so we went out and visited their facilities, and now they've come out here, and it's something now where I think it's going to be an ongoing thing with these guys. It's part of their program, and the residents, I think, love the fact that they can look forward to it every few months.
They were so excited. I would have, if I could, brought another 20 people out. That was the demand that I had, but we've got to cap it. So most of these came from country areas, and that's why they had horses.
They came in to me and they said, "Are you coming out?" And I said, "No, I don't feel like it." And she said, "Come on, come out with the horses." And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay."
It's brought back some very nice memories, and one of the memories is when you let me brush him with a brush. That was absolutely gorgeous. Animals appreciate you, If you got that loving feeling towards them, they love you back. And I hope I've never lost it, because it's many, many years since I stroked a horse or was involved in a horse. it's brought back loads and loads of memories.
And you yourself, of course, you know, life with horses, it is all about helping people, whether they have physical or mental sort of challenges in their lives. And you have a therapy client, Danielle, there today. Tell us a little bit about her and how much she enjoys the activities that you were doing today.
Yeah, Danielle is a client that's been with us for quite a while now, and she loves coming here. This is her safe zone. She feels at comfort here, and her confidence has grown so much with working with these horses, especially with our thoroughbreds. They're all at different stages in their retirement journey. So she's worked with every single horse, and that horse has placed a special growth in there for her each time she meets with them. But the other thing she does is she comes and helps us with the elderly. She's got a beautiful connection with working with them in her past, and it's a really fond memory. So for her to come out and help us with the horses and introducing the horses to the elderly and getting the elderly to groom them, that really gives her a huge self-confidence kick and boost that she just doesn't get anywhere else. So for her, it's so important and passionate that she's a part of this, and it's so great watching her.
It's wonderful the support you get. You know, we've obviously featured Frank and Christine Cook, really well-known and successful racehorse owners and breeders right around the countryside. They're such an enormous support for you. But it is important that people recognise the work you're doing and get behind it.
Yeah, it is, and we're so lucky. I am so lucky that Chris and Frank support me every step of the way. But also Racing Queensland and Queensland Off the Track, the support that we get through their grants program financially, but also if it wasn't for them, these guys wouldn't have got in touch with me, and this is such a beautiful partnership, and that's what we're about. You know, we need the financial support, but it's building solid and pure partnerships where we're all in it for the same reason, to help these guys and help find them the right careers and find the ones that really want to help the people as well.
You were a touch emotional yourself today, which is beautiful. I mean, like, it's a genuine feeling, isn't it, when you see how much these horses mean to people when they come and visit?
Yeah, it does. I'm a bit of a crybaby sometimes, but this is my passion, and I've given up a lot to do it, and these horses are my babies now. Like, I've been through such a big growth with them that when I see them turn around and help these humans the way they are, it just, yeah, I'm doing it now. I tear up. It's just the most beautiful thing ever.
And I guess, you know, you just need it to dry out a little bit more, and we'll be back through winter and on for the spring with lots of great things in store for the horses and the humans.
That's it, yes, yeah. We'd like a bit of sun, a little less rain at the moment, but it is really great, and I've got a really solid team around me now, so yeah, I can't wait to see what the rest of this year brings us with hopefully some more horses to look after and put them on their forever journey.
Such inspiring staff, and Kat's joy and pride in her horses and her team is just great to see. Coming up after the break on Thoroughbreds Are Go, thanks to Thoroughbred Breeders Australia, a new segment, Look Who We Found, as we discover now dual Group 1 winner Stefi Magnetica and a less accomplished buddy with a very important job to do. It was so fabulous to see Stefi Magnetica, your beautiful mare, in the paddock. But this segment's not about her. This is about her mate, Xavie Boy, who you bought from Tattersalls in the UK. He's by Australia. He didn't really live up to his pedigree. He wasn't a great racehorse. But tell us about what he's doing now and his relationship with Stefi.
So Xavie Boy was a really exciting yearling purchase for us at Tattersalls a few years ago, and we had big aspirations that he'd win us a Melbourne Cup and we'd have all the fun in the world with him on the racetrack, and that didn't eventuate. But that became pretty quickly apparent that he wasn't going to reach those heights, but he's just such a sweet horse. We're very much of the view that, you know, once we buy a horse, they're our responsibility, whether fast or otherwise. A certain type of horse suits being a nanny. You know, they have to have the constitution to do it. It's not an easy job. He fit that mould, and very quickly we knew we wanted to bring him back here. Before being a nanny at Ridgmont, he was actually my brother's girlfriend's riding horse, and he's done a bit of jumping in his time, but he's really happy at the moment as a partner to Stefi Magnetica when she's here. So she spells back at Ridgmont, and he's her pal. Stefi is not a straightforward mare. She's got quite a lot of attitude. She likes her own space. She doesn't really like people coming near her when she doesn't want people near her, and same goes with horses. But something's happened with Xavie Boy where she's very much magnetised to him, loves his company, feels safe with him. So it's a match made in heaven, and Stefi's going to be here a long time, and he's got his work cut out for him. I don't know that there can be an expectation that people have the means or capacity to look after a horse for its whole life after it's been racing. But what they do have to do is commit to some other way of looking after that horse, whether it be financial or otherwise. And so I think continued investment from governing bodies into looking after horses post-racing, and that being a transparent endeavour is key to that. But equally, if you do have the means and capacity to do it yourself, it's an incredibly enjoyable experience doing it. There's so much fun to be had with these horses post-racing.
Great to see Stefi in such great company during her breaks from racing. That's it for this edition of Thoroughbreds Are Go. Don't miss next week's show as we catch up with Sky Racing's own dynamic Bernie Cooper during the Magic Millions show jumping event earlier in the year, and $8 million earner Think It Over in his new career in the Hunter Valley. That and much more next week. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.
This program is brought to you by Tab. We're on. Download the app today. What are you really gambling with?